Hey everybody, what you doing? It's a beautiful day out there today. One small thing, it's only -5. So I promised you guys I've been doing some research, and I have, but before I do the video for today, I got a couple of things that I do at the end. I want to do at the beginning, get them out of the way. So, working on the VR stuff here. I'm getting the names in order here because we're getting closer. I'm missing, you're not gonna like this, but anyway, I'm missing one person's name that has given me a video response. It's one from a woman, and she put it out right after I started the contest. Now, I've gone back through all my library and I can't find that darn thing. So, I know you've already done it and I've already watched it, but if you're watching this video, you need to tell me that you did it, and tell me what date you did it on so I can go back in the library and look. And then I'll make sure that it's you, because it's a woman. And she had a very good video, but I can't find it, so I can write her name down on the list. So if you're watching the video today, I need you to comment down below that you did it and what date you did it, so I can go back and verify. Other than that, that's what I have for the VRs. I'm writing down the names of the entries. If you haven't done your VR yet, you need to go do it. We're running out of time. We only need about 40 or 50 more subscribers, and I'm going to be doing that drawing, that 1,100 subscriber giveaway. So, you know, if you want to get in on this, you better get your VR done. Only has to be between 1 and 5 minutes, 5 minutes or less, you know, and tell me what you want from this channel here in 2018. It's not too difficult. Gotten some really good ideas, and probably gonna go ahead and do whatever everybody wants. That way everybody's happy, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've gotten some really good ideas, and I think we're gonna like it. It's gonna be a good year. So I just want to show you guys, I've gotten my new stickers. These are the stickers. Let me hold it up a little closer here. That is what my sticker looks like for my channel. And you can get a sticker by just simply shouting me out, giving me some good news, send me something in the mail, I'll send it back, you know. It's stuff like that. I'm trying to get everybody to have a little fun, and so this guy here, he's a supporter. He does a lot. He won the last contest. I try to set it up here, but I'm going to send him one of these stickers for being such a great supporter. So, you know, that's just how easy it is to get one of my stickers, you know. You can send me something, you know, that's just a give me. That's how it's going to be this year, is you can send me anything, and I'm going to try to send you something back that's reputable to the price that I think your item is that you sent me. And like you send me a knife, I'm probably going to send you a knife back, plus, guess what? A sticker. So that's just sort of how it's going to go. But I want to let you guys know that Mike's going to get one of these because he is a great supporter of my channel. So just letting you guys know, I just want you guys to see how nice those stickers are. Kind of a glare on there, but it's just like my logo that you see at the beginning of all my videos. And then I need that lady to contact me about her VR. So that's what I have. The contest, we're up to almost, I think I need less than 50 subscribers, and we'll be able to do that drawing. So if you haven't done your VR, get it in. Okay, we're 5 minutes in. I've got a lot to cover here. We're going to be talking about the nuclear stuff since we're getting so close into situations with other countries. I think that we, as the American people, should be knowledgeable enough to know what to do in case of an emergency. So it's called preparing. As you know, if you look at the name of my channel, it's prepping. So guess what that means? Prepare. So that's the kind of knowledge I try to pass on to my subscribers. So today is part 1 of the series. It's going to be a 3-part series. And I'm making it 3 parts so that we can go over it in a short amount of time and not bore you guys. So today is going to be on radioactive fallout. So without any ado, let's do it, okay? Let's have a little fun with it. It's going to take about 10 minutes, so that'll make my video just about the right length. So I'm going to tell you, I took a few notes here because there's a lot to cover on fallout. I'm telling you, I want to make sure that you get the right information. That I got my facts from this place online called atomicarchive.com. So I don't want to get in trouble for saying things that not necessarily out of my mouth. I'm not an expert, so I want to make sure I get you the right information. Atomicarchive.com came up with this, so here we go. Radioactive fallout is radioactive particles that fall down to Earth, and it's a result of a nuclear explosion. Can you imagine that, huh? So it consists of weapons debris, and it could be fusion products and a ground burst. That means they shot it off from the ground, it come down, it exploded close to the ground. And so it consists of weapon debris. So the fusion products, the ground bursts, they could be anywhere from a few millimeters in size to millimeters in size, from small to large. The fallout from the bomb. When the bomb explodes, the parts of the bomb, the particles, it could be anything from little bitty pieces to huge pieces, is what they're saying. So most of the fallout is directly back close to the ground at ground zero, and within minutes after the explosion. But so it comes down, goes boom. I'm trying to explain it to you as you go because I wrote the notes down. I want to make sure that you understand what they're telling us, okay? So it comes down, it explodes on the ground, and if it depends on how close to the ground it explodes, you know. I mean, if it explodes 100 or 200 or 1,000 feet above the ground, those particles are going to be spread out in a larger area, whereas if it's closer to the ground, it's going to explode into the ground or the soil, okay? Most of it, I got that covered, but most of it goes back into the atmosphere. It can be spread over the Earth, and it could be spread over the Earth in a matter of days, months, even up to years. It could be as far as years. The types of fallout are early fallout and delayed fallout. So early fallout is where it happens within 24 hours after the explosion. That means that for the first 24 hours, there's going to be a heavy fallout, which means you want to try to stay indoors. And like I was telling you folks the other day, is I have a basement in my house here, and I have it pretty much sealed up to make sure that when a nuclear explosion goes off, I'm going to be fairly safe down there, okay? And you can't be all the way safe, but you want to keep your family down there for at least 24 hours, okay? Because that's the majority of the fallout. And then there's delayed fallout, and that occurs over a period of time. It could be days, it could be months, it could be years. So, you know, even though the initial thing is 24 hours, you're still going to have fallout, even though you come up and you're trying to do some everyday stuff. Make sure you wear some sort of respirator for sure. I have an Israeli gas mask for all of my family members, and we'll go into that. I'll pull it out and I'll go into that in another video, okay? So you want to make sure you're covering your mouth so that the fallout doesn't get down inside your body and into your lungs. It's already going to absorb into your skin, you know, so And there are radiation tablets that you can take, and I'll be in this video, I'll be showing you the kind that you want to buy. I'll give you an image in the video that will show you the correct iodine pills to buy that you can take, and it will absorb into your, I believe it's liver or kidneys. We'll get into it. I have it written down here. So most of the radiation hazard is from a nuclear burst, and it comes from short-lived radioaculi, or it's radiation. It's where radiation collides externally to the body. So that's what radionuclide, that's what it means. It's mean when the burst collides with your body, so it's like an impact, okay? So the radiation hazard comes from the radiation fusion fragments. We talked about that. It comes from those little bitty fragments all the way to large fragments. And they all have half-lives, and it could go anywhere from a few seconds all the way up to as many as a few years. It just depends, you know. We'll be up above ground. The nuclear blast is going to last probably from 1 to 5 years, so we'll always be in contact with the blast for quite some time. And it says also that it will go into the soil and the vicinity of the burst, so you want to try to stay away from the actual area that it collides with. You know, it's like if, say, I'm going to try to give you an example. I'm going to say it collides on the East Coast, but it goes up into the atmosphere and it drifts in the weather, you know, the wind currents and stuff. It may come down in your area, but the main burst is going to be on the East Coast. So that area is going to be more susceptible to, trying to explain it, to the body. You know, the body is going to be less diseased. I can't say that either because it's going to be traveling on the air. So no matter what, we're pretty much screwed. When I was looking at all this stuff and doing the research and reading it and writing it down and everything, I was just sitting there shaking my head. There's a lot of stuff that goes with it. So, you know, it may take days, weeks, or months, but eventually we're screwed. Everybody's going to become sick. So you want to try to stay indoors as much as possible. Okay, so the prediction for radioactive fallout is difficult. So they have several ways that they can tell. So what they do is they measure it from the point of impact, which is the burst. And then they also go on weather conditions, and that's what I was telling you about, the wind direction and the area, the speed of, you know, the way the wind currents, how fast they're moving. That's how they kind of measure how far it's going to be spread out and for how long. So it could be a greater spread. It could be anywhere from 1 year to 5 years, depending on how big of a warhead. I guess that would be the best way to put it. How big of a warhead and how big the explosion. It could last anywhere from 1 year all the way up to 5 years. The airburst could be minimalized on the fallout if it occurs before the blast hits the ground. So they're saying if the blast occurs up in the sky instead of close to the ground, that the fallout could be less. It's still going to be caught on the airwaves, and they're going to measure those by the wind direction and how fast the wind's moving. But if it explodes close to the ground, it's going to absorb into the soil, so it's going to last longer. It says also that the nuclear explosion at or near the surface can cause severe contamination from the radioactive fallout, you know. So, and it also says that if you're close to the burst, that our bodies can become burned. They get scabs and burns on our bodies. It depends on how close to the blast that you are. So, you know, this is sort of how it's going to be, is the weather conditions when the blast goes off is going to be a real big point of it. And so it depends on how far up the blast is, if it's close to the ground, if it's up in the atmosphere, if it's on the east coast, the west coast, if there's multiple bombs that explode on the east coast or the west coast, maybe even in the Midwest states, you know. It just depends on how many bombs there are and what the severity of it will be. So we have more stuff to go on this. This is part one. I didn't want to overdo it for you to absorb it. So if you have any questions on what I've talked about, these are just the effects of the fallout and what would happen on different levels of the fallout. So the next part of the series is going to be the long-term effect on us as humans. This is just the short term, or the initial impact of the bombs. This is what happens when they go off. The next series is series 2, is going to be the long-term effect on human beings, and that's going to be a whole lot more intense. You'll see tomorrow. So that's what I have for today. Is I wanted to let you guys know what happens when it comes down, whether it goes off in the air, whether it hits the ground. That we know if it hits close to the ground, it's going to absorb into the soil. If it explodes like over the seas, and we're talking about the particles and everything, the big particles, the little particles, well, guess what? The big particles are going to weigh something. So if it hits in the ocean, it's going to float into the ocean and go all the way to the bottom. It doesn't matter how deep it is. Radioactive material is going to float all the way to the bottom, which means the fish will be worthless too, you know. So we have livestock and the animals, everything's going to be contaminated. That's why we, as preppers, tell you to stock up on food, water, and shelter, because when the bomb goes off, you're not going to be able to go out and go to the store, you're not going to be able to go out and hunt your food, you're not going to be able to go out and fish the oceans. So it's food, water, shelter, and be prepared. In the old days, they did bomb shelters and they did drills. We don't do that anymore. I don't know why they have decided not to do that, but they don't. I think that we as Americans need to press the government, start doing that and educating the American people more. But it takes a lot of us to do that. I can't do it by myself. I need a bunch of people to go with me, millions. So that's the part one part, and it's the radioactive fallout, and it's the effects of the nuclear weapons when they go off, which means that there's a lot to go with it. Part two is the effects on the human body, but there are the radiation pills that they tell you that you can take, and I believe it saturates into your kidneys. Kidneys or liver, maybe both. It saturates your body so that when you breathe it in, it protects your body somewhat. It's not 100%, but it's going to protect you some from getting some disorders. And I've got a picture included in this video of those pills. You can get them on Amazon. Is probably the cheapest place you'll be able to pick those up. And they're not expensive at all. They're only about $8 or $9 for some. So you might want to just pick those up and just have them in your stores, because they're going to help you down the road. I mean, you have to have something. You can't just sit there and wait, or I guess you could. But anyway, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope that I didn't stutter through it enough that you didn't get anything out of it. The big thing is it depends on whether it explodes up in the atmosphere or farther down closer to the ground. That's the big thing that you have to really worry about, and whether there's just one explosion or if there's several. That's the big things. So I see I've already gone over my video by about 5 minutes of what I had planned on. So I'm just going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, if I wasn't clear enough, please leave those comments down below, or if you think that of something that you think would be pertinent to this part of the series, go ahead and leave those down below as well. And like I said, my source is theatomicarchive.com, so if you want to look that up yourself, feel free to do that. There's plenty of information out there. You don't even have to use this one here, but they had the most down-to-earth, understandable explanation that I could find, so that's what I used. So until next time, it's Bill, or Will, excuse me, and I hope you got something out of it. My kid calls me Bill, but I go by Will. He goes by what my parents called me. Anyway, have a good day. Have a great day. It's nice outside. Sun's shining. It's -5 here. I don't know what it is where you live, but have a super day. You guys know I love you. God bless you. God bless me. God bless the US of A. Thanks for watching.